This is Next Steps for Seniors with your host, Wendy Jones. Each week, Wendy brings resources and information to help guide you through those next steps with elderly parents and loved ones. You can follow, subscribe, and share on your favorite podcast platform. If you have questions or topic suggestions for Wendy, you can call us at 248-651-5010 or email at hello@nextstepsforseniors.com.
Hello and welcome to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. I'm your host, Wendy Jones, and we have a topic today that is near and dear to my heart because as a senior advances with Alzheimer's or dementia, any type of memory, we have to be prepared in our home, in our house. And I have a guest in the studio today. His name is Nate Garden. Did I say that right?
Garden.
I was like, wait a second, that was right. And he is got a passion, let me tell you. And I am very blessed to have him here. He's the Chief Operations Officer with Life Skills Village. And our topic today is how to prepare, right, for this disease state and what we can do as the disease advances in our homes today. So thank you, Nate, for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Wendy. There's so much information. I think we could spend all the time in the world on this. People are starved for the information, so let's get them things that they can use today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so where do we want to start?
So I think we were going to start today on preparing a home we're going to start today with how people start making the decisions to bring people into the home to help out.
When is the right time?
When is the right time? Exactly.
Because honestly, you want to stay at home as long as possible, as we do want you to. You want to drive as long as possible, as we do want you to. But there comes a point when it's not safe anymore.
Correct.
And the first thing to go, honestly, listeners, should be the keys. Because you might just be thinking about your loved one driving, but what you're not thinking about is the 2-year-old that might run across the street in front of them, and they have to have enough response time to actually stop the car. So yes, keys is a big deal. We're going to take those away probably first, and we are going to do a whole segment on how to do that in another topic. But today it's about the home. So tell us how do we know?
So how do we know? When do we get to the point? I think for most people, the answer is with the use of technologies and everything else, there's still just a fear that this individual is no longer able. There's a fear about medication management. There's a fear on memory. The individual with the disease has maybe reached a stage where there's a lot of paranoia and anxiety, and it's not only become debilitating, but it's become a safety concern. Whether that's someone that won't engage with neighbors that are helping out, that may be fearful of talking to friends and family members, and you've reached a point where the risks have become too high to stay home alone. And as Wendy, you mentioned, you want to stay home. The home is the healthiest place. Nursing homes have a great use, but the home is the healthiest place to be as you age. It's a familiar place, even when you do have a neurocognitive disorder. It's a place that people's mental acuity is tied to. Their whole being and life is around their home. So you want to stay in the home. How do you prepare a home, though, to start bringing in outsiders? Who do you go to? So there are resources online.
There's Next Step for Seniors.
Right? There's Next Step for Seniors. Right? You want to reach out to a program like Next Step for Seniors. This is now your resource. They're going to be able to guide you and start saying, hey, do we need people in the home to supplement a loved one? Do we need someone for respite care for a loved one? Do we want someone there for 4 hours a day? How does it start out? How do we build a plan that takes into effect the progression of the disease?
Well, and one of the things I say right away is start journaling. So you have an idea when the difficult times of the day are, because believe it or not, there's a lot of consistency. And usually around 3-4 o'clock is when things will start happening. They have to start asking the same questions again. So if you have 2 people in the home together, husband and wife or a child, start journaling. So you get a feeling of what the cadence of each day and what that looks like. Because if we bring a caregiver in at 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock, that could change your life, right?
Absolutely.
But we have someone there at 8 in the morning when they're most alert in the mornings. We want them there in the afternoon. So these are the things we just have to start learning and thinking and really, analyzing and assessing.
You're speaking about sundowning and other components that happen, right? Journaling is the best way to do it. The busy times of day are the best time to start out with. Maybe times when there's important tasks happening, showers, eating, preparing food, being involved. If there's a loved one that's caring for an individual, it might be times when they're not at home. They can handle things when they're at home, but what happens, as you said, in the afternoon until they do get home? Or maybe it is just while someone else, a loved one's at work or doing other tasks. So that's the start, but engaging with a program that's a senior living placement program or a memory living placement program and starting to build out what does the schedule look like. It's not an all or nothing thing most of the time. It's a progression. We've talked before on various different tools you can use and technologies you can use in your home. We have to leverage that. Now, as things progress, we're building along, we're increasing. So you're bringing people into the home. There are a lot of things people aren't aware of. You have to now prepare your home for strangers. You've had loved ones in your home. So how do you prepare your home for strangers?
Great question. I'm dying to know what you say for this.
So first of all, there's the food and medication component. A stranger in your home needs to know where things are. You have an individual they're now caring for that has a memory issue. There's already a sense of fear, anxiety. There may be some paranoia. So you don't want to change too much in the home. So it's critically important that you take the time to map out a home before a caregiver goes into a home so the caregiver knows where everything is, and we're not making things convenient for a caregiver because we don't think about the fact that that now may add an element of fear and anxiety into our day for the individual with a memory issue. They're already having memory issues. Now we've moved everything around. Oh my gosh, that's a horror story. There's also the realities when you have a stranger in your house. And as that increases and you have help in your house, you want to make sure that you're safeguarding heirlooms and things in the home themselves. It's something we've
already talked about it before.
But it's something we want to talk about. And I'm not talking about for the caregivers. Mm-hmm. And this is just a hard conversation to have. And I have personal experience, and I think many of us do. As someone starts deteriorating and family members may come in and say, Grandpa promised me that college ring that he has. And so maybe a nephew or niece or a sibling is now in the home. People now start getting concerned because things do turn up missing. The person with the memory issue may be putting things away inappropriately. You really have to start talking once you have strangers in the home. And even once, so those strangers are people you've known your whole life because they're family.
Unfortunately.
That has to be a conversation when you have this diagnosis as to, hey, we have a family member, they're deteriorating. What do we start doing with the valuable things? I've dealt with this personally. I've talked to many people who have. It might be time for Grandpa to put his rings and his watches away and the family to develop a plan for when it comes out that everyone's engaged with. Because the family needs to be part of the team. And if they're picking at each other because things turn up missing. So this is something when I talk about preparing the home, it's starting to document things that are important to the individual and the family. While you still can.
Absolutely. 100%.
So that there's a solution, there's a schedule. Because God forbid you're caring with someone and now all of a sudden you end up with all the friction of things turning up missing. And it's a significant issue.
I do agree with you 100%. So there's two things I recommend: an advanced care plan, which is very important, a do not resuscitate, which is very important, which would be in that advanced care plan, and also an estate plan, will, or trust. Very important to have this information documented for your family members prior to, and it's shocking how many people don't have it, I'll be honest. So if you have a diagnosis, the first thing you should do is think in your brain, who do you want to have what, when, and why? And get it all out. Get it all in writing, meet with an attorney. This is critical, and I'm so glad you brought it up.
And then for the home also, securing these items in the home, because they're going to get lost. An individual struggling with memory is going to want to put something on, and they may not put it back in the place it traditionally went, and our homes all get filled with clutter. One of the things I'd add on to that is guardianship. Right, as an individual age, especially if it's an older adult that may have a significant other that's no longer in their life, who's going to be the guardian at some point? Are there family members that want the role? Are there family members that have the capacity to be in the role? Talking to a guardian that can be a co-guardian and help family members make these difficult decisions that family members just don't want to make. That's a critical component to the estate planning, to the advanced care and advanced directives. So we don't want to forget about that.
So Nate, I would love for you to share your information. You are at Life Skills Village. If anybody wants to get a hold of you,
Okay.
what's the best way? Website, email?
Website, phone number first, 240-788-4300. We have a big team there. They can help answer your questions. We offer a full range of neurocognitive services, from assessment, neuropsychological assessments that can help assess and pinpoint and give you a timeline of your disease, to all the therapies, occupational therapy, speech and language pathology, physical therapy, and then, of course, counseling. You may need to accept and work with a counselor, and more importantly, your families may. And insurance and Medicare now pays for family members and caregivers to get counseling and get these support services. So let's get involved. Let's get engaged. If you're a family member of someone dealing with this diagnosis, whether you're the individual themselves, whether you're a care provider, give us a call, 248-788-4300, or you can go online at www.lifeskillsvillage.com. We're here. We're local in the Metro Detroit area. Call us. We're happy to help you.
We are in this together. Do not forget. And you have resources. You have support. Take advantage of it. Don't do this alone. You're listening to Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging. Thank you, Nate. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your passion. And thank you for caring and sharing it with all of us.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Wendy Jones, host of Next Steps for Seniors, Conversations on Aging podcast. Did you know that over 25 million Americans experience bladder leaks? Incontinence can happen to anyone at any time, and when it does, incontinence products are a necessity. But it can cost hundreds of dollars per month to purchase these products, which is why we're partnering with Airflow Urology to help you. Airflow Urology provides medical-grade incontinence care essentials like adult briefs, male guards, catheters, and more for free through your insurance. With Airflow, your favorite bladder control supplies are sent right to your doorstep with discreet monthly deliveries. Customers have reported close to $200 a month in savings with Airflow Urology, and over 2 million people have trusted Airflow. You can verify your insurance benefits by going on and filling out a quick 2-minute form. Check your eligibility. Visit airflowurology.com. That's AEROFLOW urology.com.